Addition, we just combine our like terms. So I'm going to add my real numbers, and then I'm adding my imaginary. So when I do that, 5 plus negative 2 is 3. 7i plus 3i would be 10i. Before I forget, you do have a skills check this week. And it's over this and what we're going to learn today. For number 2, because it's subtraction, whenever you see a subtraction sign, we have to do a change first. And what I'm changing are these signs inside of the parentheses. Okay? So the first parenthesis stays the same. The second parenthesis becomes a positive 6 and a positive 9i. Go ahead and complete this. Not complete the square, sorry. Combine your like terms. So you're adding together your real numbers and your imaginary numbers. And when you do that, so I'll give you a minute to do that so you all can practice, and then I'll see if you got the right answer. All right, so who got 10 plus 4i? 10 plus 4i. Good job. That is your answer. Go ahead, take out your notes. Go to page, I believe we're on page 18. Let me see. Yeah, go to page 18 in your notes. We're going to learn how to complete the square. All right, so the first thing we want to do, so what we're going to learn how to do today is how to change an equation from this format to this format, which is vertex form. When it's in vertex form, whatever is inside of the parentheses, these two numbers represent your vertex. Remember, your vertex is your lowest or highest point on the graph. That's what your vertex is. It's your lowest or highest point. The axis of symmetry is that middle line. Okay. So before, to find the axis of symmetry, we have to do an equation, opposite of b divided by 2a. Now we're going to do it a different way. We're just going to look at our equation and flip the sign that's inside of the parentheses. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do, this is my original equation. First thing we're going to do is just write that equation and identify your A, B, and C. So what would be your A, B, and C in this equation? Yep, 1, 6, and 11. So A is 1, B is 6, and C is 11. Step number 2 is to create a box. Let's go ahead, create your box. And it looks like we're factoring, but we're not factoring it. So inside the box, we're always going to put, let's follow the steps. It says put A in the upper left corner. So let's do that. A is x squared. We're going to put that here. And then it tells us to put C on the outside. So what did we say C was in this equation? What's C? 11. So we're going to put that on the outside. The next thing we're going to do is take the B value and divide that in half. So B is 6. What's half of 6? 3. So let's put that here and here. We're going to put that 3x here and here. And that's always how you're going to set up your square. C goes on the outside. We split B in half, okay? But when we look at this, this is why it's called completing the square. This method that we're talking about today is because, do you notice that my square is incomplete? That's why this method is called completing the square. That's how you change an equation from standard form to vertex form. You have to complete the square. This is how we're going to set it up every single time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that. For step 3, I'm just going to recreate what we already created in step 2. So I'm going to make my box again. I have my x squared here. I have 3x and 3x here. And I have 11 here. So let's go ahead and create that again. And now we're going to complete the square. And I'm going to tell you an easier way to do it than what is off to the left, because I think that one might be a little bit too wordy. So the number that's going to complete the square is always going to be what you get when you multiply these two numbers together. That's the simple way to think about it. Can somebody open up the door for Dimba, please? Thank you. I appreciate you. It's always going to be what you get when you multiply those two numbers together. So when you multiply 3 times 3, what do you get? Here you go, Dimba. You can sit here. Okay. All right, so what do you get when you multiply 3 times 3? 9. So that's the number that goes inside of our box to complete our square. But the trick tells us that whatever we added to complete the square, we have to subtract that number from C. So you see how I put a 9 on the inside of the box? I have to take that 9 away. Just like that. And now we're going to factor this down, which looks complicated, but it's not. When you're completing the square, it's always going to be, we're going to take out an x, and then we're always going to take out this number. So if it's a positive 3, I'm going to take out an x plus 3 here and an x plus 3 here. So what we have is x plus 3 times x plus 3, and then pick up your calculators and type this in to see what you get. What you all get? 2. Thank you. So a 2 goes here. So in mathematics, instead of writing something twice, another way to do that would be to say it's y equals, and it's x plus 3 squared plus 2. This is vertex form. You need a calculator? Oh, okay. So this will be vertex form. Okay, so now we have to identify two things. We have to figure out where is our vertex. I'm going to have to write this. I don't know, do y'all have a little space under the box? A little bit? Okay. So the vertex is always going to be H and K. This is H and this is K. Have you all heard about H and K yet? I don't know if we talk about that and integrate it. I can't remember. Yeah, okay. H and K is whatever you see here, H is the opposite. So that's why Miss Guyman says opposite, because H is opposite. So instead of H being positive 3, it is a negative 3. K is 2, so that's your vertex. And then the axis of symmetry is always X equals the first number in your vertex, which is negative 3. So we're going to practice this. We're going to do this with 4 more equations, and then that'll be it for today. Just a reminder, homework 3 is due today. It is the last day to turn it in to get full credit. You don't have homework tonight. If you finish homework 3, you're done. All right, so let's go ahead and go to page, what page is this? 19, and let's practice it some more. So we're going to do that method 4 more times. So first we're going to draw our box. And we're going to put our x squared here. And the 13 goes on the outside. That's always going to be your first step. Draw your box. X squared goes at the top, 13 goes on the outside. Now you're going to take this number, whatever this number is, you're going to split that in half and put it in these two. So what's half of negative 8? Negative 4. So we're going to put a negative 4 here and here. Again, our square is incomplete. So the number that's going to complete the square is whatever you get when you multiply negative 4 times a negative 4. When you multiply 2 negative numbers, it's positive. So pick up your calculator if you need to. Figure out what is negative 4 times negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. Whatever you put in that square, you have to subtract it from C. So this is going to factor down to x minus 4 times x minus 4. That's my GCF. So my equation would be y equals x minus 4 squared. So instead of writing x minus 4 twice, we just say it's x minus 4 squared. Pick up your calculators and see what you get here. This is your K value. So 13, positive 13 minus 16. What is positive 13 minus 16? Negative 3. Good job. That's my equation. So this is vertex form. So the vertex, remember, opposite. So it's not negative 4. We have to flip it. It's going to be a positive 4, negative 3. And the axis of symmetry is x equals 4. And that would be your answer. This is your equation. This is where your vertex is. And this is your axis of symmetry. So we're going to practice this 3 more times, and we are done for today. So now let's look at the next one together. Go ahead and draw your box. The A goes in the top left. C goes on the outside. So that negative 24 goes on the outside. Take this number. Everybody look at the screen. This number and divide it by 2. What's half of negative 10? Negative 5. So you're going to put a negative 5x here and a negative 5x here. So now, in order to complete the square, pick up your calculator and multiply -5 times -5. And -5 times -5 would be what? 25. Good. We're going to put a positive 25 here, but we got to subtract that number from here. So this factors down to x minus 5 times x minus 5. So we have y equals x minus 5 squared. Pick up your calculator. Type in -24 minus 25. -49. Okay, so that's your equation. Your vertex is opposite. So instead of a -5, we have a +5, -49. And the axis of symmetry is at x equals 5. All right, so I've done this 3 times. I want you all to try to do this next one by yourself. We only got 2 more. And I'm just going to come around and see where we are. I'm not going to call anybody out. Just want to see where we are, who understands it, and then we'll work through it together. Did real good with that. All right, let's go ahead and work through it. Go ahead, make your box. So when you make your box, which I don't know why I made that so big. Okay. X goes here, C goes on the outside. What do you get when you take half of 14x? 7x. That will go here and here. And then what's the number that you put in the box to complete the square? 49, because 7 times 7 is 49. So we have an x plus 7, x plus 7. So your equation would be y equals x plus 7 squared. And then pick up your calculator and take 9 minus 49, and you should get -40. That's your equation in vertex form. Your vertex, which is the lowest point in this one because it's a smile, the vertex is going to be at -7, -40. Remember, when you're writing your vertex, this number flips. I think some of you all forgot to do that, and I was looking at the equation, but I didn't look at if you wrote this right. So remember, for your vertex, you have to flip this sign. And then axis of symmetry is that x equals -7. All right, go ahead and do the last one, and then that's it for today. Try to complete the square. Who already has the answer for the last one? All right, let me come around and look at it real quick. Good job. All right, let's go ahead and finish it out. So we make our square. Seven goes on the outside. What's half of 4x? 2x. And then what's the number that completed the square? 4. But whatever you put on the inside, you subtract it from the outside. So your equation becomes x plus 2 squared plus 3. Your vertex is at -2, 3. And your axis of symmetry is x equals -2. All right, use this time to finish homework 3 if you haven't already. And tomorrow we're going to practice